Awakening is always a surprise. It's such a wonderful surprise, but a surprise nonetheless. There's this very strange phenomenon where as we learn about awakening, as we inquire, and even as we get experiential tastes of it ourselves, and we get those intuitive moments where we recognize that this is something about me. This is something real, more real than what I've been taking to be real. Even with all that going on, that there's something driving us toward some kind of shift. We're still constructing a set of beliefs. We're constructing some kind of paradigm about what it's going to be like or how it's going to be. Now, usually this isn't even consciously obvious, meaning we're not overtly thinking, oh, I think when I have an awakening, I'm going to be able to levitate, or I'm going to have white robes, or I'm going to suddenly be happy all the time, or everyone's going to love me, right? We don't often think in that overt set of terms about what awakening should be like. And those are kind of exaggerated, joking terms, but we don't necessarily imagine it and daydream about it in that way. And yet, because of the nature of what we wake up from, we can't help but have this certain sort of expectation about perhaps the context in which awakening is going to happen. And it's going to happen in the context of me. It's going to happen in the context of me, the seeker that wants something to happen for it so that it can be happier, so that it can get some kind of relief, so that there can be some kind of release. And as I mentioned, there are moments during the inquiry process, or as we orient toward awakening, where we do feel relief. We feel little moments of expansiveness, where the character, the person, the seeker feels like it's getting something, moving towards something, but very quickly the gap closes and it gets sort of reified back into what feels like you, the usual view of yourself, the mind-identified self. And this really escapes your notice because your notice is made out of that construct. So it's such a strange thing when that breaks open and you realize what awakening actually is. It's just seeing that the vehicle through which you've been seemingly navigating your life, and actually you've been defending the integrity and structure of that vehicle without realizing it, holding it together. And then when you let go, when you just let go of all of the parts of the you that feels like it's holding everything together and defending itself, what's recognized as always simply the case, always just this, is pretty mind-blowing. It's really phenomenal because it's so free. Now, this can be a big mind-blowing aha with a lot of emotional release, or it can just be a feeling like somehow the bottom fell out and the space you find yourself in is vastly more free and fluid. But even to say it that way is not quite right, because you're not in a space. And even space is sort of saying too much. It's just several degrees of freedom that you had sort of forgotten by believing you were something small and discreet and trying to be in control all the time, are suddenly regained. And you realize you don't have to do anything for that to be the case. You don't have to do anything for freedom. You don't have to do anything for peace. It's just natural. You don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to continue to try to be you. It's absurd. You don't have to try to defend anything. You don't have to try to find anything. You don't have to try to navigate or manage anything. All of that was seen to be the illusory vehicle that seemed to house you in this mentally constructed world. And then it's realized none of that is real. It was just a collection of thoughts. So what remains beyond that, there's really no way to talk about it. But it's always a surprise. Even if you think you have no idea about what awakening is going to be, or you have the idea that it's going to be a surprise or it's going to be a mystery, even that will still be structured in that sense of a self, a mentally constructed, thought-based self. So when that breaks open or dissolves, what is revealed is marvelous. It is beyond any description. It's beyond the ability to hold a view about it, to hold a frame of reference about it. It's not enclosed by identity, not enclosed by understanding or reference frame. It's not subject to any of that. It can't end. It didn't begin. So it's deeply and profoundly surprising. But it's not like the event itself is surprising to the one who comes in contact with the event. The surprisingness, the awe and wonder is how this is. It's how reality is. It's how experience is. It's how appearance is. It's sort of emanating from all contact points, from all sensations, from all sounds, from all movements of the mind. It's wonder, innocence. It's surprising, but it's surprising to no one. It's just its own jubilance, its own ecstatic, sublime something. Words really fail here. But the point of making this video was really just to say, hey, keep at it. Keep digging. Be willing to be surprised. Be willing to let the bottom fall out. Be willing to go through that fear barrier. Be willing to let something come forward in your experience and sort of push you out of the way. Show you a way of seeing that was previously beyond any of your capacity to understand or imagine. All we can really do is till the soil. We can do the inquiry. We can orient to awakening at the level of heart. That's what we can do. And then it's a matter of timing. There's a synchronicity to it. But let it come for you. Be willing to not resist. Be willing to enter the unknown, the mysterious.